So the next technique that we will discuss here is the type of storyboard which is called interactive storyboards. Let the user experience the system in as realistic manner, just like the practical. Design the storyboards in a way so that the user feels the things are happening in reality. Require participation by the user. It also designed to make the user the part of this particular session. So the examples for the interactive storyboarding are live demos, interactive presentations. So choice of storyboarding technique will be based on complexity of the system and the risk of teams misunderstanding of what the system needs to do. So basically we are using this technique when the system to which we want to understand will be a complex structure and the risk of misunderstanding while getting the system requirements by the team. So when we will use this technique, when the system will be complex and there are chances of misunderstanding of the system requirements by the team. So now we will see what the storyboards do. In software, storyboards are based most often to work through the details of the human to machine interface. So basically the storyboards are designed when we are talking about the software requirements in order to get the details of human and machine interaction while using the interface designed for such interactions. Storyboard deals with three essential elements here. Number one, who the players are. Who will be the players of this particular software system? What happens to them? The features, the responses of the system we will consider here. And number three, how it happens. The sequence of activities or responses will be discussed under this section. So basically, in order to design the storyboards, we have to identify the essential players of the software, which are basically the users, the machines and the devices which will interact with the software. Now what happens to them means how they will interact with the system and how the system will behave in response. And how it happens means what are the sequence of activities while performing some specific operation. So now we will see who the players are in the storyboarding. As we have mentioned earlier, the who are such players like the users, the other systems, or the devices means the actors that will interact with the solution system we are developing. So here the players will be the actors, and actors are those things or humans who will interact with the software that we are developing. We can call these actors users, systems, or devices. For users, the interaction is typically described via a user input screen or data entry forms, outputs such as data or reports, or other types of inputs and outputs devices such as buttons, switches, displays, and monitors. So, in order to design the user interaction is described using different user input screens, interfaces, or data entry forms, or outputs like the data generated by the system in response, or the reports that we will generate as an outcome, or the other types of input and output devices like the buttons, the switches, displays, and monitors. For devices and systems, interaction will be performed via a software or hardware interface like the communication protocols. So the devices and systems, the interaction will be modeled via software or hardware interface like a communication protocol we will consider here. So what happens to them in storyboarding? The what element represents the behavior of the users. What means that how the users will behave as they interact with the system, means when the users will interact with the system, then how they will behave, or alternatively the behavior of the system as it interacts with the user. So when user initiates some task or operation, then in response, what will be the behavior of the system when the system interacts with the user? So now we will see how it happens in storyboarding. The how element represents the states that the player or the system assumes during the interaction. Basically, how means what are the steps or sequence of activities that we will consider in order to perform some interaction. So finally, we will consider the example for a storyboard in order to respond who, what, and how. So we are considering an automated vehicle amusement park ride. The who represented the guests who ride on the vehicle. Who means the users, and who are the users? Guests are the users who ride on the vehicle. And the what represented the behavior of the vehicle as it provided various events for the guests, and how provided further description of how this interaction happens in sequence of steps like events, state transitions. Describe both guess states, means when he will be surprised, scared, and the vehicle states accelerating, braking, and unloading. So finally, here we have a storyboard for the ice cream website. In the first screen or the image of the story will be the customer chooses the flavor from the website. The second images shows that the customer pays for the order. The third screen shows the dispatcher fulfills the orders. The fourth screen shows the ice cream is delivered to the customer. So this is how we can model the story of a system in a shape of diagrams in order to understand and get the details of the software we are going to develop. So now we will see the task for this particular topic, which is called storyboarding. So what you have to do is you have to design a storyboard for this system, which is called the library management system, using different sketches. The thing to remember is you have to sketch in a way so that it follows the sequence of events happening in this particular system, which is called library management system. So this was all about the week 7 lecture. We'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.